everybody. BΛPHOMST today is going to be a Rainbow Six Siege video, and I'm just going to be going over what is the best loadout for each operator. This episode is going to be for the attackers. The second part will be for the defenders. Alright, let's get started. Sledge, you're not going to run the shotgun on Sledge. It's just not viable to run shotguns on attack. So you're going to run the L85, and here's a good opportunity to talk about muzzle attachments. So, hold on, give me a sec. Alright, so the flash hider reduces vertical recoil, the compensator reduces horizontal recoil, and the muzzle brake reduces the recoil of the first shot. So basically you only want to use the muzzle brake on pistols and DMRs. You're not going to use the suppressor on like any gun because reducing the damage is just, you know, a bad idea. So on the L85, you're probably going to run the flash hider. You can run the compensator because it has that tendency to kick to the left, but I like running the flash hider. Scopes are tricky because, I mean, you can just run the high zoom scope and like that's a respectable choice, but I usually don't like a lot of the high zoom scopes like the ACOGs, so I prefer to use the 1.5, and plus Sledge is an entry fragger, so I think a lower zoom scope helps. You're not going to be holding as many passive long angles on Sledge, I think. And then there's no option for an angled grip on the L85, so a vertical grip is, you know, what you're going to have to deal with. Pistols, you can run suppressors on pistols. I don't really care, but, you know, muzzle brake, because suppressor reduces the damage, and that kind of sucks. And then, of course, you're going to run frags. Frags are by far the most useful attacker secondary gadget. You're not going to run stuns on Sledge. That's not smart. Thatcher. Now, it's really a toss-up between the L85 and the AR-33. Now, the L85 has one of the best time to kills in the game, I think. I'm not sure, but I like running the 2x scope on it. Not that it has any other zoom scopes. But when I'm not running the L85, I'm usually running the AR-33 with a 1.5 and an angled grip. Just because the AR-33 has the angled grip and it's got a faster fire rate, and Siege is game with one-shot headshots, so faster fire rate is always going to be really good. You can run either breach charges or claymores. I think they're about equal in strength in terms of attacker secondary gadgets, but usually you're going to have some sort of soft destruction, so you're going to want to bring a claymore to just cover your ass. Ashe. Unfortunately, Ashe is not in a good spot right now in the meta. There's just a lot better entry fraggers. But even so, R4C really had its recoil just screwed. So you're probably going to run the compensator and the vertigrip. And it has no option for a medium zoom scope. You're just going to have to stick with the 1x. But the G36 does have the 1.5 and an angled grip, so I've been running that whenever I play Ashe on the off chance that I do. Breach charges, you can run breach charges on Ashe just because they reduced her the number of her breaching rounds from 3 to 2 a while back, but you can run claymores. It's viable. As I said, they're about equal in strength. Thermite, you're not going to run the shotgun on him, so you're just going to run the 5.56 with the compensator. And I like running the 2x just because the ACOG zoom feels a bit too high for me sometimes. And if you're running the ACOG, you probably want to run the vertical grip unless you're like really good at recoil control. I'm not, so I just use the 2x so I can use the angled grip. Faster ADS time really makes a difference most of the time, but it's definitely viable to run ACOG vertical grip because you're going to be holding a lot more passive angles on Thermite. The 5.7 and the M45, I didn't talk about this on Ashe, so I'll talk about it on Thermite. You can really go either one. Do you want high damage, low mag size, or medium damage, high mag size? It really depends. I swap between the two. Smokes are way better than flashes, especially on Thermite when you're probably going to have the diffuser and you want to throw down the smokes to cover your plant. Twitch, the F2 is like one of the best guns on attack. I don't know why you would run the 417 or the CQB. I run it with a 1.5, even though the vertical is, or even though the recoil is like really hard to deal with. The vertical grip helps, and if you just pull down your mouse enough, you can work with the 1.5. The P9, I really prefer the P9 over the LFP revolver, just because the irons on this are so bad and the recoil is completely unpredictable. So the P9 is just a way more safe and reliable choice. You can run claymores on Twitch because you're going to be droning a lot of the time and you're going to want your ass covered, but I think smokes are just a really good secondary gadget. Montagne. Alright, there's not much choice here. You're just going to run the P9 and smoke grenades because you're probably going to have the diffuser as Monty. Unless you want to run a hard breach charge for some reason. I don't know why you would do that unless your team has like a bunch of smokes and no hard breachers for some reason. Glass. You don't have any other option for a primary, so there you go. I like running the PMM over the Gon 6 just because I like using the rifle for long range and the PMM for close range combat because the OTS doesn't have an option for an angled grip, so if you're in close quarters, the faster ADS time on the pistol is going to help. Plus the Gon 6 just kind of sucks as a gadget. It's only good if you already have it supplemented by frags, which Glaz does have, which honestly it's a toss-up between frags and smokes for Glaz because frags are just undeniably strong, but the smokes go so well with this kit. Fuse. I've seen a lot of people running the LMGs on Fuse, and that is completely respectable. I've run it a few times, and it's pretty good, but the AK-12, you know, highest DPS in the game, plus it's got an ACOG, but I like running the 2X, and it's got an angled grip, so I think that's pretty undisputed. PMM, one of the best pistols in the game. Breach charge goes really well with your gadget, but you can run the hard breach charge if you want. I'm gonna go a bit faster. Yeah, Blitz, you don't have many options. Smoke grenades are undeniably better than breach charges. IQ, don't use the AUG. It's probably the worst out of these. G8 is pretty good. You know, it's an LMG, 50 round mag size, 850 fire rate. It's pretty good. Only problem is it doesn't have a zoom scope, which the 5.52 does. It's got the 1.5, and it's got the option for the angled grip and a really fast time to kill. So that's what I run. I do run the silencer on IQ though, so you can get rid of, because you're gonna be shooting out a lot of gadgets with your scanner often. Breach charges and claymores doesn't really matter. Buck, don't run the DMR. Just put a flash hider on the C8 and then pull your mouse down and pray, because the vertical recoil on this thing is horrendous. I would prefer to run stuns just because you're an entry fragger, but you can run the hard breach charge. It's a good secondary gadget. Blackbeard, both of his guns kind of suck. The SR is a 2-shot actually, so that's actually not bad. Plus it's got the really high zoom 3 times, so most of the time you're just gonna run the SR and then sit outside the building on a window. He's got the deagle. Don't silence it because the vertical recoil is really bad. You can go Claymores to watch your ass when you're on a window, but just stuns are better. Capitao, do you want a shorter mag with a shorter reload, or do you want a really large mag with a really long reload? It's really up to you because the Para and the M249 have the exact same fire rate and damage. The only difference is the magazine and the reload time. You don't have any other option for a secondary, and the hard breach charge is undeniably better than the Claymore. Hibana, don't run the shotgun, run the Type 89. I like running the 1.5 with the angled grip, but you can run it with the vertical grip, or you can go ACOG vertical grip. Just don't run ACOG angled grip because the recoil will be really bad. It's no contest here. Why would you run the semi-auto pistol when you have a full auto machine gun pistol with a fire rate of 1100? It's like, without a doubt, the Bearing 9 is so much better. Just run a flash hider and pull down. You can go breach charges if you're going to play from above and go for hatches. I actually like doing that on Hibana sometimes, but most of the time you're going to be running stuns. Jackal, I've seen people running the PDW, but the C7E is just really good. It's the second highest time to kill gun in the game, I think. I like running it with the angle grip flash hider and the 2X. Doesn't have any other scope. The PDW9, though, I do run it from time to time. It's got the 1.5. I like putting on the 1.5 and the compensator with the angled grip. And, of course, you're going to want the pocket shotty. Pocket shotty over the pistol, it's no doubt. And smokes, just really good secondary gadget. Ying, don't run the shotgun. You're going to want to run the LMG. It's got every scope except for the 3 times because it's an LMG. But I like running the 2 times and the flash hider and the angled grip. You can go the hard breach charge, but with smoke grenades, that means you have 6 throwables on Ying. 2 smokes and 4 candelas, which is absolutely insane. Zafia, I've seen people running the LMG, but I just like the M762. It's just really good to use. I like running just a 1-time sight on it. I don't like using the 2 times because 1, Zaf is an entry fragger, so you're going to be taking close quarters engagements more often. And 2, if you don't have the vertical grip, the recoil is really going to kick your ass. So I just like running the angled grip and the 1-time sight. Sights, it really doesn't matter. I like running the hollow B. I know a lot of people like the reflex B. Feel free to run that. With Zaf, doesn't really matter, but since you already have soft destruction, I would just recommend you go Claymores. With Dokka, you're probably not going to run the Boss G. It's just a meme gun. Just run the EBR with the 3 times, just holding angles from outside the building. The recoil is really not that much, so you can afford to run the angled grip as long as you have the muzzle brake. And obviously go the SMG-12 since you don't have a full auto primary. Just spray and pray with this thing because the recoil is, oh god. And smokes, obviously, better than stuns. So, there you go. Lion, I actually do run the 417 on Lion from time to time. It's quite fun, but the V308 is just so much better. It's got a 50-round mag, solid damage and fire rate, and he's got the Gon 6, which I actually prefer to run over the revolver because the revolver kind of sucks. It's very unpredictable, and stuns are nice. Stuns are very nice on Lion. Finka, the LMG is actually really good because the main downside to LMGs is they usually don't have an angled grip, but with Finka's gadget, you activate it and you get faster ADS time, so you can actually afford to use the LMG. I like running it with a 1.5 since you're going to be entry fragging a lot, and a flash hider. The Gon 6 is really nice because it's also supplemented by frags. Maverick, don't run the AR-15. You have a full auto primary. The M4 is actually really good. Run it with a flash hider and the 1.5 and the angled grip. Don't have any other option for a secondary. I've seen people go Claymores on Maverick. It works, but come on. You have frag grenades. Just take the frags. Nomad, it's really up to you. Do you want one of the fastest time to kill weapons in the game, or do you want it slightly slower damage and a slower fire rate for a larger mag and a quicker reload? The main downside of the ARX is it's only a 20 round mag and it's a really slow reload, especially the full reload where you have to pull back the charging handle. I like running the ARX though, just because it's really fast time to kill. I like running it with the 2x and the flash hider and the M9 instead of the 44 mag. Stuns are definitely better than breaches on Nomad, I will say, unless you want to play like a vertical or something. Gridlock, you can run the M249. I just like the F90 because it's got a higher fire rate. The Super Shorty is really nice to have. You don't need the Gon 6. And Smoke's really good on Gridlock because you have flank watch, area denial. Smokes are really good to cover the planter. Nuck. I've seen people use the shotgun. It has worked, but it's really unreliable, and I would just recommend you go the FMG9. It's actually pretty solid gun. Run it with a 1.5 and the flash hider. And the Deagle, while you are a stealthy operator, still don't suppress it because the recoil is not going to be fun to handle. You can run the hard breach charge, but like Maverick, you got frags. Just take them. Amaru, don't run the shotgun. You have a G8. You have a G8. You can run the 2x, but I find the recoil is a bit much with it. Or it's not the recoil. It's just you're going to be entry fragging a lot as Amaru, so you're probably going to want the angled grip and a 1x. And you can go the Gon 6, but I just like the SMG-11. The SMG-11 is probably one of my favorite guns in the game. And stuns probably, because you're going to be entrying. Kali, you don't have many options here. You have the MP9 secondary. Run it with a 1x and the flash hider. Not that it has a zoom scope. There's no attachments for the sniper. You can go claymores or breach charges. It doesn't matter in my experience. Ianna, you can go the ARX. As I said before, very good gun. It's only got the 1.5 though. The G36 does have the angled grip, so you can entry a lot easier. Run it with a flash hider and a 1x. And of course you have the Gon 6 supplemented by frags, so just run those as well. Ace, you have an AK-12. Don't run the M10. Literally, as I said before, one of the best guns in the game. I like running it with the angled grip and the 2x, but sometimes the recoil is a lot. You got the P9. Run claymores unless your team doesn't have much soft breach, in which case go breach charges. Zero, it's a toss-up between the SC3000 and the MP7, because on one hand, the SC3000, it has higher zoom scope. You get the 2x, and run it with a flash hider and an angled grip. But it's also got a higher time to kill. But the MP7 does have a higher fire rate, but it's got the 1.5. So it doesn't have as high of a zoom as Zero. And Zero, you actually want the higher zoom because you're going to be on flank watch most of the time. So it's a toss-up, but I preferably run the SC3000 with the Gon 6 because the 5.7 is integrally suppressed with Zero, which kind of sucks. So just run the Gon 6 and hard breach charge. You have a lot of utility with that. Flores, you have the SR-25, which I mentioned before. It two-shots people most of the time, but the AR-33 is just a full auto weapon. You're probably gonna run it over the SR. I run it with a 1.5, the flash hider, and the angled grip, and you don't have many other options for a secondary, and just run flashes. Unless you want to run claymores, because you're going to be droning a lot, but just run flashes. And our final attacker, yeah, Osa. I don't have Osa, so I have not compared these against each other, but I do know that the PDW9 is really fun to use, but the 5.56 is a really good time to kill. So it's a toss-up. It depends. Do you want to be holding longer passive angles with the 5.56, or do you want to get a little more up close with the PDW9, run it with the compensator angled grip? We already went over it. You got the PMM. I didn't know that. And then smokes. Smokes are just really good. They're obviously better than claymores. And that is it for the attackers. I hope you found this video useful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.